G'day everybody. Well, onto the Crompton Parkinson repulsion motor restore. Can't remember what part this is. I've done so many videos on this thing. But basically what I'm going to be doing today is looking at the bearings, assessing what's missing from each, the front and the rear, and working out what we can do in terms of replacement parts. Starting being the oil wicks are both missing from both bearings, if I can get my words out correctly. These are basically wet oil bearings. This is what all of these old electric motors used to use. Basically they've got a wet oil sump down here, which is generally just engine oil or high viscosity electric motor oil. And they've got a wick. I'm going to be using a bit of an old jacket liner. I used to have tons of this stuff out of an old jacket that I cut up for rags a long time ago. Don't know what part of it that was. It was just like there's two outer layers, and then this was inside as like a padding. But it is synthetic. It's polyester, and it's really good at wicking up oil. So I'm going to use some as the wick, the replacement for the bearings. And yeah, basically it draws it up, brings it round, delivers it to the bronze sleeve. As you can see, there's two little galleries, one up the top and then there's a lower one down. That's where the oil runs, lubricates the motor shafts. As you can see, there's the front one there, the back one's exactly the same. And then the oil then just migrates through these little holes here, and then just runs back down into the sump. It's very straightforward in terms of how it works. But yeah, these motors are made for upright mounting only. You can't put them sideways or up on one end like most other motors of today can be configured. So that's how that works. I've also got to make up a gasket for it. There is a gasket that went around here. There's little bits of it still remaining. It's like a cork type material. So I'm gonna have to either get a piece of really thin cork sheet that I can just cut out, or even get some proper gasket material, which would be a better option, and just cut out a couple of gaskets for this. This is exactly the same. I'll even pull this one apart and show you what's inside, but it's the same deal. Same bits missing. We've also got our spring that holds the oil wick in place, because there's a little hole there where it threads through, and then there's a spring, oops, if I hit the camera, that pushes it against the, basically it pushes it against the motor shaft and gives it contact. So we're going to have to get another spring. This one still has its grub screw luckily, because the other one's missing. Take that out, show you what it looks like. But yeah, spring goes in here, and this is also your oil filling point, and the oil just runs down inside. So that's missing, and this is also missing from the other one. I think it's the same size. No, it's not actually, bugger. So I'll have to see if we can get another one from somewhere, or I might even have one in the stash. But yeah, that's all ready for painting. Both of these are, but I just haven't done it yet because I've been trying to source some paint. Couldn't find the original gunmetal grey colour that this thing was painted, so I'm just going to use some silver metallic aluminium spray paints, the 2x paint and primer. Does the job alright. So top housing's been sitting here a while, but that's essentially what the whole thing will look like. It's alright in terms of its colour, but I can even top coat it if I really have to. Onto other things, the stator, that's going to need to be rewound. Despite being able to get enough termination here to redo these terminals, I think it's these two here are short to the casing, because I was doing a continuity test on it before, and yeah, these two have got continuity to the outer casing, which you don't want on an electric motor. So I'll have to see if I can source some magnet wire from somewhere. I think it's 0.9mm copper wire this thing is, and yeah, then we'll have to rewind this. I really didn't want to have to do that, but sadly it's just what I've got to do really if I want this thing to work. But I'll get the, probably today as well, I'll get the rest of the paint off this and just leave it at that, because I don't really want to go chopping the windings out yet until I work out how much wire I'm going to need, and also the correct type, because if you don't use the correct type of wire in this, you get major problems. Well, I don't know how well you're going to see this, but it's essentially how the oil wick goes in this thing. and then with the spring going in the hole there and actually pushes down on it and presses it against the motor shaft. I'll have to take it out in the light actually, but there's a bit of light down here I can do this in. If you can see that, that's essentially what it used to look like, or what probably would have gone in place. May not be enough, but I can always just keep topping the oil up. But that's that one sorted. I've got to do the same for the other side, which will be the same tedious process. It's really good having Allen keys around, they make it so much easier. So you can literally just sit in there and just move it around and get it to the right position. But yeah, same job for this one as well. And yeah, then we'll work out what we can do about gaskets. I've also taken the rest of the paint off this as well and cleaned it up, ready for the coat of paint, which I'm not going to give it yet just because it doesn't need it. When I strip all the windings out, I'll give the whole thing a good going over with probably a coat of lacquer on the inside and then a good coat of paint, probably the same as this. But I'll do the inside of that next, and that should probably do us for a day. It's stinking hot out here as well. Also did have to be a bit careful with the angle grinder as well, because I did get a little bit of sparks off. But yeah, don't do this sort of stuff, especially angle grinding on a hot day, because being in total fire ban, anything that resembles a flamethrower can be quite dangerous. I know poor old Great Ocean Road down in lower southwest Victoria, for those who don't know, they've been battling some pretty horrific fires down there that have been going on for quite some time, and unfortunately they're with the heat wave they're going to start up again, which is really bad. But yeah, that's that all sorted out. I'll do that one next and see what else we've got to look at. Here's just a quick look inside the rear end bell bearing housing. It's in much better nick inside than the front end is. There's a lot less rubbish build up despite not having a grub screw in it. But I've just gone over the top, also done that with the front end, has just used a scraper, gone around it and gotten rid of all of the old gasket, because anything sticking up will depress the new one and damage it. So do be careful of that, make sure it's dead flat, like you can run your hand over and you won't feel anything. I've also done the same with the end cap as well. That just goes on, and then the screws go in.